Welcome to the Explainer. Right now, I want you to just take a second and look around. We're going to be thinking about the invisible data systems that are literally running our everyday lives. From the exact moment you wake up to the second your head hits the pillow, you are interacting with this unseen, highly complex blueprint of geographic and spatial data. It dictates how our entire modern world operates, it's happening right under our noses, and honestly, it is absolutely fascinating.
I mean, seriously, think about this for a second. How does your phone actually know that a traffic jam is exactly 2 miles ahead of you? Or how does a delivery driver know the absolute most efficient route to your front door? The answer isn't magic. It's actually a real-time spatial digital twin of our reality. It's a constant live data feed from sensors and datasets, all mapped out perfectly over the physical world. And that brings us to the core topic of our explainer today.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're talking about Geographic Information Systems, or GIS for short. At its core, GIS represents advanced tools that capture, store, analyze, and visualize spatial and geographic data. But you have to understand it's way more than just a digital map on your screen. It actually integrates all these diverse layers of data to analyze complex spatial relationships and patterns that would be nearly impossible to spot using traditional methods.
To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of GIS, think of it like a macroscope. So instead of looking at tiny individual pieces like you would with a microscope, GIS acts as a macroscope, seeing our Earth as a whole rather than taking it apart into its constituents. It's basically the ultimate tool for solving complex, planetary-level problems because it overlays seemingly unrelated data to find those hidden connections.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with daily life and commerce, move into shaping smart cities, explore security and public safety, zoom out to managing our planet, and finally, look at the future of mapping. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Daily Life and Commerce. We're looking at the micro level of GIS here, focusing on the technology that's right inside everyone's pockets and the everyday economy that surrounds us.
And that brings us to our first two applications, navigation and businesses. These are the invisible blueprints driving everyday commerce. Whether you're just trying to find the nearest coffee shop or a major corporation is deciding exactly where to open its next branch, locational intelligence completely dictates modern consumer behavior and business strategies.
You probably recognize how this plays out instantly. Take navigation, for example. You've got drivers on Waze crowdsourcing real-time traffic and gas prices to help each other out. And yes, GIS is actually what allows you to enjoy the soothing voice of Morgan Freeman giving you directions from your GPS. On the business side of things, UPS uses near real-time fleet tracking to study safety and map shorter routes, which saves them massive amounts of time, tire tread, and fuel. Rental car companies even use something called geofencing, which is creating a virtual geographic boundary to secure stolen vehicles or stop cross-border travel.
Moving on to Section 2, Shaping Smart Cities. Now we're shifting gears from our individual pockets up to the meso level, looking at how our actual communities are physically built, managed, and optimized.
And this brilliantly illustrates application number 3, urban planning. City planners are dealing with incredibly rapid urbanization these days. GIS is exactly how a city like Portland, Oregon manages its urban growth boundaries while still balancing environmental conservation. Meanwhile, over in Singapore, their Urban Redevelopment Authority uses these exact same tools to optimize land use, plan public transportation, and monitor development in a super dense space.
Getting down to the nuts and bolts, cities use spatial analysis for land suitability, meaning they evaluate the topography and the soil to figure out the absolute best use for a specific parcel of land. They're constantly updating zoning maps and optimizing traffic flow. A really fantastic example of this is Curitiba down in Brazil. They use GIS to plan and implement their famous bus rapid transit system, totally transforming urban mobility across the whole city.
This kind of city optimization leads us directly into applications 4 and 5, site suitability analysis and public health. Figuring out exactly where to put a new hospital, a public park, or an affordable housing development requires incredibly complex modeling. Planners literally have to overlay demographics, existing infrastructure, and environmental factors all at once. Because, there's a really deep connection between our built environment and community well-being. By integrating health data with demographic info, GIS actually helps planners spot health disparities. They can map out where diseases are popping up or analyze who has access to healthcare, which lets them pinpoint areas that are lacking essential services and target their interventions right where they're needed most. All right, Section 3. Security and public safety. Beyond just health and infrastructure, we have to look at how our communities are actively protected and how emergencies are managed using all this spatial data. Which brings us to Application 6, Security and Law Enforcement. GIS plays this vital, yet completely invisible role behind the scenes. Think about it. A 911 call starts and ends at a specific location, and GIS manages both the calls and the dispatching of units to those precise coordinates. It's also used heavily in military logistics, homeland security, and dropping mobile command locations during a crisis.
In practice, you'll see some law enforcement agencies utilizing predictive policing models. These map clusters of past crimes to allocate police patrols to specific areas based on data patterns. But then you have these wild, highly specific applications. Like in London, they captured thermal signatures to spot unlawfully rented sheds because renting those out is actually illegal there. And historically, spatial intelligence goes way back. During World War II, the Bavarian Pigeon Corps literally equipped a flock of pigeons with tiny cameras to map out enemy territory. Just incredible.
Let's move along and see how this builds from the hyperlocal to the massive. We've talked about micro applications, stuff like navigation, local zoning, 911 dispatch. But this exact same underlying spatial database technology allows us to track global climate shifts, monitor our oceans, and figure out how to feed the world. Section 4, Managing Our Planet. This is the true macro level of GIS. We're zooming all the way out to orbit to see the Earth as one giant interconnected system. Let's check out Application 7, Agriculture. The farming industry is going through a massive transformation right now. It is shifting away from primarily manual labor and turning into a dynamic, hyper-precise technology industry where innovation really meets nature. By integrating spatial data, farmers can monitor crop health, spot pest infestations early, and plan their day-to-day operations with incredible accuracy. Just look at this number, $12.3 billion. The GIS software market in agriculture is projected to explode to that valuation by 2032. Why? Precision farming. It is a real game changer. GIS creates detailed maps of field variability, so farmers can apply water and fertilizer precisely where it's needed, not just everywhere. We're seeing real-time crop monitoring using drones and combining historical yield data with weather patterns to actually forecast our future food supply. This kind of global oversight leads right into Applications 8 and 9, Resource Management and Natural Disasters. For resources, GIS is the central tool for siting renewable energy, like figuring out where to put offshore wind farms so they don't mess up marine life or shipping lanes. It's also how we track global deforestation using satellites. When it comes to natural disasters, planners use GIS to model where tornado sirens need to go to keep everyone safe, and they simulate flood hydrographs to build highly accurate evacuation maps.
And finally, we get to Application 10, Climate Change. Organizations like NASA use the Earth Observatory to explore exactly how climate change is affecting our atmosphere, oceans, and land. GIS brings together immense amounts of satellite data to literally make the invisible visible.
By overlaying these massive data sets, we're talking sea level rise, shrinking habitats, tracking desertification, and year-by-year land surface temperature changes, researchers can actually model complex what-if scenarios. The true beauty of this is that it takes staggering amounts of raw, complicated data and creates concrete, visual evidence of environmental shifts. That is absolutely crucial for policymakers who are trying to plan mitigation strategies and redesign our infrastructure for a changing world.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the future of mapping. Looking ahead, we need to zoom back out and think about the overarching concept we've been building throughout this whole explainer.
So, what does this all mean? I want to leave you with a final, provocative question to chew on. What are the ethical and philosophical implications of living in a real-time, spatial digital twin? We are entering a world where every movement you make, every resource we consume, and every planetary risk is tracked, modeled, and analyzed in a living digital blueprint. Now, it offers incredible power to solve the world's most pressing issues, for sure. But it also raises some massive questions about privacy, security, and how we interact with this invisible layer of data as it gets more and more detailed. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep looking closely at the world around you, because there is always a deeper map waiting to be read.